special conditions, and then we'll commence the auction.
Okay. So the special conditions of sale, there's quite a few in there, but I'll summarize them for you. The so the first condition is essentially saying that the general conditions of the sale apply. The second condition is the general conditions of the sale apply except where they're altered by the special conditions. The third one is it says VAT is not chargeable. And the fourth condition, and this is an important one, you need to realize this, it says to the extent that the documents are listed, to the extent that documents are listed in the documents schedule as certified copies or copies of original documents, the purchaser accepts that this is what will be furnished on completion and that the purchaser shall not be entitled to call for production of the original or certified copy of that document, and no better copies shall be sought or furnished. No further documents shall be furnished, and the general conditions are hereby deleted accordingly. The vendor herein purchased the property subject to it being a green field comprised in the aforementioned folios at auction from a mortgagee in possession. The vendor's ownership is in the process of being registered with the Property Registration Authority. The purchaser herein is furnished with the documents set out in the document schedule. The purchaser shall not call for further or better information or documents. No further objections or requisitions on title will be furnished. The general conditions of the contract are hereby amended accordingly. Then condition 5 relates to the title. It says the title shall commence with the transfer registered at number 5 of the document schedule and dated 23rd of May 2022. Just to be clear on that for everybody in the room, the property was originally purchased at auction and the papers for the registration of the ownership are with the land registry and we're in the process of being registered. The registration hasn't been completed yet. Without prejudice to the generality of the preceding provisions of this special condition, the purchaser accepts that it has been furnished with all family home declarations on title in the vendor's possession. No further or other family home declaration shall be called for or produced other than a family home declaration to be executed by the vendors, which shall be substantially in the form of the draft declaration furnished. In relation to completion, special condition 6 says, completion of the sale shall take place on the closing date of the office of the vendor solicitor or such other location as the vendor shall direct. The sale shall be completed and the purchaser shall pay the balance of the purchase price by 12 noon on the closing date in order to enable the vendor to achieve full value for the purchase price on the day of actual completion. The balance of the purchase price shall be paid by electronic funds transfer to the vendor solicitor, details of which shall be furnished to the purchaser solicitor prior to the closing date. The bank details are actually in the contract. General condition 21C and 21D are hereby deleted for the avoidance of doubt. The vendor shall not be obliged to complete the sale until it has received all payable monies pursuant to this contract, including without limitation all interest due to the vendor, provided always that the vendor shall be entitled to require completion to take place strictly without prejudice to the right of the vendor to pursue its claim for interest. In other words, if the closing runs late and if there's interest to be applied, the sale won't close until the interest is paid as well. But the vendor does have the option to say he's waiving his right to claim the interest. In relation to inspection, it says the subject property is sold in its present state and condition, and the purchaser is deemed to have inspected the subject property and be aware of its present state and condition. What that means is you need to have walked the land and you need to be familiar with what you're buying. So don't come back to us afterwards saying, I didn't know that was there, or I didn't know that this was going to happen or that was going to happen. So it's buyer beware, walk the land. It's a matter for the purchaser to make their own searches on title and satisfy themselves regarding the title. As such, in the event of a claim to title being made by a third party, the purchaser shall have no right of recourse against the vendor in respect of any claim arising therefrom or any costs relating thereto. And it shall be a matter for the purchaser at his own expense to deal with the claim to title after completion of the sale. The purchaser is put on notice of a public water supply on the land. the vendor is not aware of any details relating to same, and the purchaser shall not raise any further requisitions in relation to same. Um, there is provision here as well for postal closing. It says, without prejudice to special condition 6.1, where the vendor agrees that completion of the within transaction is to take place otherwise than at the office of the vendor solicitor, the mode of dispatch of the completion documents, unless otherwise agreed, shall be through the document exchange, or if the purchaser solicitor is not a member, by registered post. In such circumstances, the purchaser shall pay the balance of the purchase price by 12 noon, no less than 1 working day prior to the closing date, and the vendor solicitor shall not be required to dispatch the completion documents until the balance of the purchase price has been received and the full value is available to the vendor. In other words, the documents aren't going to be released until the money is paid. The entire agreement and representation says the purchaser agrees and accepts that no information, statement, description, quantity, or measurement contained in any advertisement or given orally or contained in any brochure, catalogue, letter, report, docket, or handout issued by or on behalf of the vendor or any agent acting on behalf of the vendor in respect of the subject property, whether or not in the course of any representation or negotiations leading to the sale, shall constitute a representation, including the purchaser to enter into, inducing the purchaser to enter into the sale or a condition of warranty forming any part of the contract. Any information, statement, description, quality, or measurement so given or contained in any such advertisement, brochure, catalogue, letter, report, or handout issued by or on behalf of the vendor or any agent on its behalf is for illustration purposes only and are not to be taken as matters of fact, and that any mistake, omission, inaccuracy, or misdescription given orally or in the form of any advertisement, brochure, catalogue, letter, report, or handout issued by or on behalf of the vendor or any of its agents, whether or not in the course of representation or negotiations leading to the sale, shall not give rise to any right of action, claim, entitlement, or compensation against or from the vendor or any of its agents under this agreement or otherwise, or any right of residue of termination. The within contract comprises the entire of the contract between the vendor and the purchaser and supersedes any other alleged contract between the parties in relation to the subject property. For the avoidance of doubt, the parties hereby acknowledge that any previous agreement which may have been entered into by the vendor and purchaser relating to the subject property is hereby rescinded. Any statements, representations, or warranties made by the vendor, agent, or employees during the course of negotiations leading to the sale, which are not herein contained and set forth, are hereby treated as having been withdrawn and will have no force or effect in law whatsoever. General condition 29 shall be read subject to this condition. In relation to the deposit, it says the deposit shall be paid by way of 2 installments. This was designed because of the online aspect of the auction as well. Okay? So, and Stephen will probably be able to explain more after I read this. The deposit will be paid by way of 2 installments. An initial deposit in the amount of €6,500. I think that's for the online bidders. Yeah. And on or before the date of sale, and the balance of 10% of the purchase price, the balance deposit within 2 working days of the date of the sale. Anybody who buys it in this room today will be expected to pay the 10%. Within 2 working days of the date of sale, and in this respect, time shall be of the essence. General condition 27 shall be read subject to this special condition, where the initial deposit is equal to or greater than 10% of the purchase price, then no further deposit shall be required. Raymond Potterton and Company Limited will hold the deposit as agent for the vendor and not as a stakeholder, and general condition 4D is hereby amended accordingly, and I think that's especially in relation to the people who paid online. Yeah. The purchaser warrants and confirms that the deposit paid under this contract is from a legitimate source and is not in whole or in part the proceeds of crime as defined in the Proceeds of Crime Act 1996 as amended, or emanating in whole or in part from the criminal conduct or the proceeds of crime conduct as defined in Part 2 of the Criminal Justice Money Laundering and Terrorist Financing Act 2010 as amended, or terrorist financing as defined in the Criminal Justice Terrorist Offences Act 2005. The deposit, say any booking deposit paid to the vendor's sale agent or auctioneer will be placed by the vendor's solicitor on deposit with whatever bank you use. Um, if this contract is rescinded, but the deposit shall not fully be forfeited, and there shall be any negative interest rate and or similar charges imposed by the bank, regardless of the method or means by which the interest rate charge is applied, then the vendor shall be entitled to deduct from. This was actually written before they abolished the negative interest rates. It was in there, and I'm sorry I didn't take that since, right? But it says the vendor shall be entitled to deduct from the deposit any amount for the interest charged, the interest deduction. The interest deduction shall be calculated by the vendor based on the period during which the vendor solicitor holds the deposit as stakeholder, and the method or means by which the interest charge is applied by the bank, and the vendor's calculation in this regard shall be final and binding, save in the case of manifest error. General conditions 33A, 34, and 36E shall be read subject to this special condition. A balancing payment for the interest charge. The balancing payment shall be added to the balance of the purchase price to be paid by the purchaser on the completion date. The balancing payment shall be calculated by the vendor as a weekly interest charge based on the period during which the vendor solicitor holds the deposit as stakeholder, and the method or means by which the interest charge is applied by the bank. And the vendor's calculation in this regard shall be final and binding, save in the case of manifest error. The balancing payment shall be addition to any adjustments required under General Condition 23, and the expression balance of purchase price, where used in the conditions, shall be construed accordingly. The vendor and the purchaser acknowledge that arrangements for the payment or deduction for negative interest rates or charges in the special condition constitute a fair estimate and do not constitute a penalty, and they do not constitute interest within the meaning of the term of General Condition 21. You can disregard a lot of that because the negative interest rates don't apply. If the purchaser fails to complete the closing of the sale on the closing date, then the purchaser shall pay interest to the vendor on the balance of the purchase price remaining unpaid at the stipulated interest rate for the period between the closing date and the date of actual completion of the sale. The interest, together with the balance of the purchase price, shall be payable on closing by the purchaser to the vendor. The purchaser shall be bound to accept this position, and no objections, requisitions, or inquiries shall be raised in relation to same, and General Conditions 20 and 21 are amended accordingly. The vendor and the purchaser acknowledge that arrangements for the payment of deduction of negative interest rates and or charges in special conditions constitute a fair and estimate and do not constitute a penalty, and they do not constitute interest within the meaning of the terms of General Condition 21. Counterparts. This contract may be executed in any number of counterparts, each of which, when executed, shall constitute a duplicated original, but all the counterparts together shall constitute the one agreement. Transmission of any executed counterpart of this contract, but for the avoidance of doubt, not just a signature page, by email, in PDF, JPEG, or other agreed format, shall take effect as delivery of an executed counterpart of this contract if either method of delivery is adopted without prejudice to the validity of the contract. Each party shall provide the other with the original of such counterpart as soon as reasonably possible thereafter. Severance. In any term, provision, clause, or subclause of this contract shall, in whole or in part, be held by a court to be unlawful, void, or unenforceable under any enactment or rule of law. That term, provision, clause, or subclause, or any part thereof, shall be required extent, be severed from, and deemed not form part of the contract, and the validity and enforceability of the remainder of this contract shall not be thereby adversely affected. Electronic signatures, this is for our friends online. Each party agrees that this contract may be electronically signed and that any electronic signatures appearing thereon are the same as handwritten signatures for the purpose of validity, enforceability, and admissibility. The contract shall not be binding on the vendor until signed and approved by him or her and no contract shall be deemed to exist until such time as formal contracts have been exchanged and a deposit paid in full in accordance with the terms of the contract. Without prejudice to the conditions of General Condition 20B, the vendor solicitor will complete by post or courier, if so required, by the purchaser's solicitor, provided that A, the vendor solicitor are in receipt of the balance purchase monies, B, liability for the documents to be furnished on closing pass to the purchaser upon same being placed in the post by registered post or being handed to the courier retained for that purposes by the purchaser. The vendor solicitor shall not have any liability in respect of same thereafter. The next condition, number 16, is the one where it sets out the bank details, and then special condition 17 is a general condition which essentially says the purchaser agrees and accepts that the vendor's liability under general condition 39 is, in addition to the limitations imposed by general condition 40, limited to the extent of the insurance cover available to the vendor in respect of the subject property. If any, the vendor does not warrant or represent that any insurance cover is or will be carried out in respect of the subject property. No statement or measurement contained in any brochures or advertisements issued by or on behalf of the vendor in relation to the subject property shall constitute a representation, including the purchaser, or inducing the purchaser to enter into the sale or any warranty forming part of this contract. Any statements, descriptions, or measurements contained in any such particular or in any verbal form given by or on behalf of the vendor are for illustration purposes only and not to be taken as a measurement of fact. Any misstatement, incorrect description, or measurement given verbally or in the form of any printed particulars or any vendor's behalf shall not give rise to any cause of action, claim, or compensation to any right or decision under this agreement. No right of action shall accrue against any agent, employee, or other person, whether connected directly or indirectly to the vendor, whereby any mistake, omission, discrepancy, inaccuracy, misstatement, or misrepresentation or negotiation leading up to the sale. The purchaser is deemed to have inspected the property with full knowledge of the actual state and condition of the property as to repair, means of access, enjoyment of light and air, easements, boundaries and rights of way, fences and walls, and the vendor shall not be required to furnish any declaration of identity or to define boundaries, fences, ditches, hedges, or walls, or to specify what boundary, if any, or apart nature. No requisitions or objections shall be raised with regard. In this regard, General Condition 11 is hereby amended accordingly. General Condition 31 shall not apply to this sale. It shall be a matter for the purchaser to make his or her own inquiries and satisfy themselves as to whether any notice has been served by a competent authority. No service of any of the orders or notices referred to therein have come to the vendor's attention prior to the date hereof. No objection, requisition, or inquiry shall be raised in relation thereto. The purchaser acknowledges that the terms of this contract are personal and that the purchaser shall not be entitled to assign the benefit of this contract in any manner whatsoever or to subsell the subject property without the written consent of the vendor. No warranty or representation has been given or shall be deemed to have been given by the vendor in relation to the compliance with any law relating to the environment, whether Irish law, European community law, any common or customary law, or any legislative measure thereunder, and it shall be a matter for the purchaser to satisfy himself in this regard prior to the execution of this contract. It's a matter for the purchaser to satisfy himself as to the tax designation or otherwise of the property and all other matters thereto. No objection or requisition shall be raised in respect of the same. The provisions of General Condition 36 shall be amended so as to provide reference to a period of 28 days in General Condition 36B to F and G2 shall be substituted by reference to a period of 14 days. So a notice period of 28 days is now going to be changed to 14. Raymond Potterton will come to Limited, and the agent's solicitor will hold a deposit as agent for the vendor and now as a stakeholder at General Condition 14, hereby amended accordingly. Thank you for listening to all that boring stuff.
Thank you very much. Very comprehensive conditions, as I'd expect. Does anyone any questions? And then I'll explain what we're doing. Okay.
Just on the interest rate, by the way, the interest rate is 10%.
Okay. Now, so just to explain what I'm doing here today, it's a hybrid auction. I'll be very brief. Okay, so there's bidders online, there's bidders in the room. So I'll be taking bids from the screen, I'll be taking bids from the room. Okay. What I intend to do is offer lot 1, which is 19 acres, lot 2, 25.5 acres, and lot 3, 12.5 acres in that sequence, and then offer the entire. Okay? So I'll be very clear on what property it is. Now, if you're interested in a lot, there's one thing I'll say to you: you need to let me know you're there. I may not go back to a lot if it's at a very bad price or there doesn't appear to be interest in it. I'm not going to go back to that lot. If it goes on in the entire or goes on in the lots, if you're interested in the entire, vice versa, I may not go back. So there's no prizes here for sitting on your hands. We all want to get it done, and we all want to get it. You want to get it bought, and we want to get it sold. Okay. So it's lot 1, lot 2, and lot 3, and then the entire. Okay. And then we'll see what we're going to go. But don't expect me to come back and offer you the lot again if you've done nothing. Okay? I need to know you're there, and we need to be at a reasonably good level, and we'll get this done today. Our instructions are to go and sell the farm, and if we're bid to a reasonable level, that is what we will do. Okay? So, Carrignagower, you all know it very well. Beautiful part of the country. And lot 1 is 19 acres, laid out in 4 great divisions. Very little waste. When I inspected it, it had yielded a fantastic crop of hay. Little or no waste, and 430 metres of very valuable road frontage, straight as a die. I wouldn't mind living there at all. It's a gorgeous, gorgeous place. So, 19 acres. Anyone there start me? Anyone there start me at 2? Sorry, just one other thing. Fall of the hammer, the contract, it's sold to you, and you are expected to pay 10%. Okay? On the fall of the hammer, you will be signing the contract and paying 10% today. So, 19 acres, Carrignagower, 4 beautiful fields. Who'll start me? Who'll start me at 200,000? Who'll start me at 200? Anyone at 200? Say 180 then. 180. Anyone at 180? 180,000. Don't all jump together. 180,000. Anyone at 180? Let's say 150 then. 150. Anyone there at 150? Anyone there at 150? Anyone there at 150,000? Not much point going much lower than that now. Anyone there at 150,000? I don't believe you all came here to look at me. This is a gorgeous piece of land. Who's there at 150,000? Who's there at 150,000? We say 150. We say 150. Anyone there at 150? Okay, 120. Anyone there at 120? Not going any lower than that now. You're either here to buy it or you're not. Anyone there at 120? Anyone there at 120? Anyone there at 120? 120 I have. We say 130. We say 130 I have. We say 140. We say 140. 140. 140 I have. We say 150. 150 I have. We say 160. We say 160. We say 160. 150 I have. We say 160. We say 160. We say 160. 150 at 160. 160. We say 170. We say 170. 160 I have. We say 170. We say 170. 160 I have. We say 170. 160,000 and bid, we say 170, 170, 165, 165, we say 170, we say 170, we say 170, 165 I have, we say 170, 165 I have, we say 170, 165, 170, we say 175, we say 175, 170 I have, we say 175, 170,000 is 19 acres, better land you're not going to see. 175, we say 175. We say 175. 170 I have. We say 175. We say 175. Still light. We say 175. 170 I have. We say 175. We say 175. 170 I have. We say 175. 170,000. We say 175. 170,000. 19 acres. Gorgeous piece of ground. We say 175,000. We say 5. We'll take 5. We say 175. 170 I have. We say 175. Will we say 175? Will we say 175? 170 I have. We say 175. 170 I have. We say 175. Sounds cheap to me. We say 175. Anyone there at 175,000? 170 and bid. We say 175. Will we say 175? If you're thinking about it, it probably is a good idea. We say 175. We say 175,000. 170 I have. We say 175. Any improvement on 170,000? I'm calling against you now. Any improvement on 170,000? I'm going to move on to lot 2. Any improvement? 175. Have we got 175? We say 175. We say 175. 170 I have. We say 175. 170 I have. I'm going to move on to lot 2 now. 170 I have. Will we say 175? Last chance. Okay, I'm going to hold your 170. Okay. Now, lot 2, 25.5 acres. Great piece of ground. Lovely fields, potential land can be reclaimed there on one side of it. Gorgeous farm. Who'll start me? 25 acres. Who'll start me? Who'll start me at 220? Who'll start me at 220? We said 200 then. We said 200. We said 200. 150. We said 150. Come on, we'll start. It seems to be a number we'll start at. What about 150? Anyone there at 150? Anyone there at 150? Anyone there at 150? Anyone there at 150,000? Anyone there? 140 I have. 140 I have. 140 I have. Anyone there? 150. 140 I have. Anyone there?
Lot number 34. Lot number 34. All AA bred stock.
150 I have. We said 160. We said 160. We said 160. 150 I have. We say 160. We say 160. 150 I have. We say 160. We say 160,000. We say 160. We say 160. 160 I have. We say 170. We say 170. Let's say 170. Anyone there at 170? 160 I have. We say 170. We say 170. We say 170,000. 160 I have. We say 170. We say 170,000. Anyone there at 170? 170 I have. 170 I have. Anyone there at 180? We say 180. Anyone there at 180? Anyone there at 180? Anyone there at 180? Anyone there at 180? 170 I have. Anyone there at 180? Anyone there at 180,000? Anyone there at 180,000? 25.5 acres. Anyone there at 180? Anyone there at 180,000? 170 I have. Anyone there at 180? Anyone there at 180,000? Any improvement in 170? I'll take 5. Anyone there at 175? 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 175 I have. Anyone there at 180? Anyone there at 180? Anyone there at 180,000? 180 I have. 180 I have. Anyone there at 185? Anyone there at 185? Any improvement in 180? Anyone there at 185? Anyone there at 185? Anyone there at 185,000? 180 I have. Anyone there at 185? Anyone there at 185? 180 I have. Anyone there at 185? 180 I'm bid. Any improvement on 180? We have 185. Do we have anything in the room? Anyone there at 185? Anyone there at 185? Am I holding at 180? Am I holding lot 2 at 180,000? 25.5 acres. Am I holding at 185? Am I holding at 185? Okay, I'll hold that. Thank you. Now, lot 3, 12.5 acres. Gorgeous land. Lovely, quiet place to farm. 12.5 acres. Who'll start me at 100,000? Who'll start me at 100,000 for the 12.5 acres? Anyone there at 100,000? Anyone there at 80? Anyone there at 80,000? Anyone at 80,000? Anyone at 80,000? Say 60. Not much point going much lower than that. Anyone there at 60? Anyone there at 60,000 for 12.5 acres? We'll be making headlines for all the wrong reasons. Anyone there at 60,000? Anyone there at 60,000? 50 I have. 50 I have. Anyone there at 60,000? 50 and bid. 60 I have. Anyone there at 70? 60 I have. Anyone there at 70? Anyone there at 70,000? 60,000 I have. Anyone there at 70? Anyone there at 70,000? Anyone there at 70,000? 60,000 and bid. Anyone there at 70? Anyone there at 70,000? Anyone there at 70,000? 70,000 I have. We say 80. We say 80. 70,000 I have. What we say 80? 70,000 I have. We say 80. We say 80. I'll take 5. Anyone there at 75? We said 75. 75 I have. 75,000 I bid. Anyone there at 80,000? Anyone there at 80,000 for lot 3, 12.5 acres, 75 I bid. Anyone there at 80,000? Will you bid 80,000? Will you bid 80? Anyone there at 80? Any improvement on 75? Any improvement on 75,000? Any improvement on 75,000? Anyone there at 80,000? Anyone there at 80? Am I holding at 75? Am I holding at 75,000 for 12.5 acres? Anyone there at 80,000? Anyone there at 80,000? Anyone there at 77, 80,000 I'm bid? 80,000 I'm bid. We say 80, let's say 82 and a half. 80,000 I'm bid. We say 82 and a half. 80,000 I'm bid. It's 80,000 against you all. Any improvement on 80,000? Any improvement on 80,000? Any improvement on 80? 12.5 acres, 82. 82 I'm bid. 82. 82,000 I bid. 82,000, just to give the online bidder the same chance as you, okay? 82,000 I bid. We say 84. Anyone there at 84? 82 I bid. Anyone there at 84? Anyone there at 84,000? Anyone there at 84,000? 82 I bid. Anyone there at 84,000? Anyone there at 84,000? 82 I bid. Anyone there at 84? Is there any improvement? 82 in the room. It's 82 against you all. It's against you online. Anyone there at 84,000? Anyone there at 84,000? 82 I bid. Anyone there at 84? Any improvement on 82? Am I holding at 82? 82 on my right. Am I holding at 82 for the second time? Holding at 82. Okay, I'll withdraw at 82. Now, 422. Yep. Is that right, Damien? 422. Please. So it's 432,000 I'm bid for the entire. Okay, ready? We're open online as well. So 432,000 I'm bid for the entire. That's lot 1, lot 2, and lot 3. Any improvement on 432? Well, let's say 435. Anyone there at 435? Anyone there at 435,000? Is there anyone there at 435? Is there anyone there at 435? Is there anyone there at 435? Anyone there at 435? Is there any improvement on 432 in the room? Anyone there at 400 in excess of 432,000? Anyone there for the entire in excess of 432,000? Have you any bidders above 432,000? Now at this, I'll be withdrawing lot 3, and it would look like I'm not coming back to it. So if you're interested in the entire, please bid now. 432,000. 432,000 against you all. Am I withdrawn? Okay, withdraw the entire. Okay. Now, okay. We're going to recess just for a moment. We'll be back in 2 or 3 minutes. We're going to talk to the vendors, and we'll be back. Okay? Thank you very much. Sorry about the delay, but in my experience, it's shortage of money that causes these delays. So I'm not taking the blame. Now, lot one. So lot one, I am bid 170,000. I told you we were here to sell today, and if we were bid to a level, we'll sell. We're very light, but in the spirit of things, we're putting the property on the market. So the property is on the market at 170 on my left, and it is on the market and selling. So it's speak now or forever hold your peace. Anyone there at 175? We say 175. 170 I have. Anyone there at 175? When it's gone, it's gone, as Harvey Norman says. Anyone there at 175? 175. 171. I can count them ones. 172. We say 172. 171 I have. 172. 3. 173. You've opened the ones now, you might as well keep using them. 173. We say 173. 172 I have, and I'm selling on the left of the room. 172 I have. Anything online? 172 I have. 172,000 I have, and I'm selling for the first time on my left. 172 I have. I'm selling for the second time. 172, we all done. It's 172 against you all. The hammer is up. 172,000 for the third and final time. Sold. Thank you very much. Now you just can wait with us for a few minutes and we'll attend to the rest. Now, lot 3, I'm going to do first, is at 82,000 on my right. Again, 82,000 on my right. Your bid. So it's 82,000 against you all. Again, we're selling. Property is on the market. I'm being sold at 82,000 if I cannot do better. Anyone there at 83,000? Anyone there at 83? Anyone there at 83? 82 I have. Anyone there at 83? Anyone there at 83? Anyone there at 83? 82,000 I have on my right. Anyone there at 83? Anyone there at 83? 82,000 I'm selling for the first time. 82,000. Any improvement on 82,000? Any improvement on 82,000? It's 12 and a half acres. It sounds very cheap to me. Anyone there at 83,000? 82 I have. Anyone there at 83? Any improvement on 82,000? Selling for the second time at 82,000. 12 and a half acres, 82,000 euro. The hammer is up. It's against you all at 82,000. Any improvement on 82,000 for the third and final time? Sold. Thank you very much. Again, wait a few moments. Now, lot 2. Lot 2 kind of hit the crossbar. We're nearly there. We could do it a little bit more help. Lot 2, we're at 180,000 euro. I'm looking for a little bit more. 180,000 euro for 25 and a half acres. We're not there. Anyone there at 185? Anyone there at 185? We want to sell it and we want to sell it all. Anyone there at 185? Give me a little bit of help here and we'll see can we get to the farm. It'll be easier dealt with today than tomorrow. That I can promise you. We're in selling mode today. Anyone there at 185? Anyone there at 185,000? If you want it, now is the time. Anyone there at 185? Anyone there at 185,000 for 25 and a half acres? Anyone there at 185,000? I need more. Can't do it at 180. Anyone there at 185? Anyone there at 185,000? 25 and a half acres. You may go home on a farm today. You were nearly there. Maybe you do this one, would you? Anyone there at 185? It'd be a good decision. Anyone there at 185? Anyone there at 185? 185 I have. Anyone there at 190? Anyone there at 190? Anyone there at 190 I have. Anyone there at 195? Anyone there at 195? Anyone there at 195? 190 I have. Anyone there at 190? Any improvement in 190? We say 195. Anyone there at 195? We say 195. Anyone there at 195? Anyone there at 195? Anyone there at 195? 195 I have. 195 I have. We say 200. We say 200. 200 I have. We say 205. Anyone there at 205? Still 25 and a half acres. Do the maths. It's cheap. Come on. Anyone there at 205? Anyone there at 205? Anyone there at 205,000? 200 I have now. Anyone there at 205? Anyone there at 205? Anyone there at 205,000? Any increase in 200? Any increase in 200? Anyone there at 202? Anyone there at 202? Anyone there at 202? Anyone there at 202,000? Anyone say 202? Anyone there at 202? 200 I have. 200 I have. Anyone there at 202? Anyone there at 202? Okay. Now, if you give me one moment, I'll consult with the vendors again. This won't take long. Okay. Now, the bid is €200,000, and again, the property is on the market and we're selling. So any improvement in 200. This is it now. Carrignagower, the last piece of it. 200,000 of any improvement in 200. 200 on bid. Anyone there? Anyone there at 202? Anyone there at 202? Anyone there at 202? Anyone there at 201? Any improvement on 200? Any improvement on 200,000? 25 and a half acres. Any improvement on 200,000? Any improvement on 200? Am I selling at 200? Am I selling at 200,000? 200,000 for the first time. 25 and a half acres, Carrignagower at 200,000 is on the market and selling for the second time. Any last chance against you all at 200,000 for the third and final time. Sold. Thank you very much. On behalf of the vendors, ourselves, Raymond Potterton, and Liam, the sort of the local auctioneers, we'd like to thank you for your attendance, thank you for your efforts, and we hope that maybe for the underbidders we'll have another farm for you in no time at all, and for the new owners, the very, very best of luck to you with the land. Okay? Thank you very much.